All right, what's up, Internet? All systems look good for episode 8 of Cryptowatch. And yun, so we'll be talking about today why Bitcoin has crashed, some of the economic reasons behind it, some of the political reasons behind it, and whether you should be panicking. But let me first just make sure everything is okay. You should be having dinner instead of watching me, but if you are watching me, thanks so much for joining us for Ep8 of Cryptowatch. Okay, looks good on Facebook, and let me just make sure sound looks good on my end. Let me just make sure that it's okay on YouTube as well. So, parang okay naman, yeah. I just heard myself on YouTube. Sup, Gerald from YouTube. Thanks for joining us. Sup, Jericho. Jericho, parang you're in all of our streams. Parang hindi mo sinusulit yung days off mo. But Jericho will be back with us. Jericho, for those who don't know, is our newest tech staff. And yeah, he comes back to the shop tomorrow, Friday. To be honest, with three tech guys, I have a difficult time. Hindi ko na maalala kung sino yung nasa shop at any given time. So I keep making mistakes na like kinukulit ko si Jericho, tapos pala hindi si Jericho, si Gerald yung nasa shop, or si Jay, or vice versa, or something. Yeah, but so Cryptowatch is our monthly episode where we talk about cryptocurrencies. And if you've been following cryptocurrencies, it's actually been a bad 6 weeks or so for crypto. Usually, maganda kasi yung new year for Bitcoin and for cryptocurrencies in general. Usually, based on the historic trends, tumataas yung price. So actually, a lot of people, including myself, bumili thinking na yun nga, tataas yung presyo kasi may end of the year boost. Historically, tumataas nga siya. So, I do want to use the new feature. Sup, Bitoy? Thanks for watching. Ah, ito. And hello to Aldous. Still waiting for... Now's a good time, actually. Bitcoin is down, but that doesn't mean... Usually when prices drop, difficulty drops also, so that's a good time to start mining. And so, but you do need a miner. We have talked about it in a video, like what's the best way to go about a miner if you're... It really depends on what cryptocurrency you want to mine, kung Bitcoin, kung Ethereum, etc. Sup, Revinjan? Hello, everybody. Crime Lab Gaming. Sent from YouTube. Crime Lab has a good take on it. No need to panic. It's actually an opportunity to enter the crypto world. That's personally also how I see things. Pero it's very nakakatakot para sa mga newcomers na kasi grabe talaga yung crypto. Parang roller coaster yan eh. Grabe yung akyat, grabe rin yung bagsak. So, if you're a newcomer tapos medyo mataas pa yung bili mo tapos biglang bumagsak. Let's say you bought Bitcoin at 50,000 per Bitcoin tapos ngayon mga 42, 43 na lang siya. I mean, that's more than a 15% drop. In, para lang may context, the how much ba yung yung interest sa deposit mo ngayon with the TD, I think it's 1.5%, and that's already a time deposit. I think for local Philippine peso. So, ang laki ng 15% drop. And so, nakakalula, especially for yung mga medyo bago sa crypto na, oh my God, ba't siya bumagsak? At hindi lang na bumagsak, it's like a free fall. So, we'll talk about those things in a little bit. Kaalaman has the same thought na don't panic just yet, don't panic. I do, although there are some contrary, I mean, I do agree. Personally, yan din yung inisip ko na don't panic, now's a good time to either buy in or to start mining since pag bumabagsak yung presyo ng coins, bumababa rin yung difficulty. Difficulty refers to how much coin you earn when you mine. Yun nga, for those who are new to the crypto space, mining just means doing some work for the network, usually with some of your computer hardware, whether it's graphics cards or gamitin mo yung hard disk mo. I forget the coin, pero naging uso yon last year eh. SIA, I think it was SIA coin. Natakot yung mga tao na leche tong crypto. May isa pang crypto, tataas din yung prices ng SSDs, hard drives. Although, Sia didn't catch on that much. So for with Sia, you used your memory, your storage space as the means na paano ka makatulong sa network. So mining just means using your computer hardware to do work for the network, and as a reward, this is very simplistic. They're uh, lalim ng details, but very simplistically, mining just means you do work for the network using your computer, tapos may reward ka in the form of coin, the coin of the network that you work for. Tapos may difficulty yon. The more people are mining, the less rewards you get. Kasi syempre, ini-encourage ng network na uh, it wants to encourage a lot of people to mine because the speed of transactions, the speed of verifying transactions depends on how many miners there are. So it wants to give incentives. Pag konti lang nagba-mine, mas malaki yung kinikita nila. So because the networks are basically trying to incentivize work. The more people are working, medyo inisip niya na, well, madami naman nagtatrabaho, hindi ko kailangan masyado na magbigay ng incentives or di ko sila kailangan hilain na tumulong sa network ko since marami na sila. It's kind of like when you're starting out, alam mo yung mga celebrities or you just or a business, pag small time ka lang, kada customer talagang sobrang inaasikaso mo yan. Pero pag medyo big time ka na, one customer goes away, we have 10 more waiting for us. Ganon yung mga mining networks. If there are just a few people on the network, you get more rewards. The rewards will decrease as more people join and mine or work for the network. But hindi ganon si Hardware Sugar, whether small or big or kahit anong size ba kami, we still treat every customer like sobrang mahalaga sila. Promise. If you don't believe me, try it out. Try us out. And Bitoy has a question, ano yung usually percentage ng portfolio nyo ang crypto? For myself, I'm medyo aggressive, so a big chunk of my personal portfolio is in crypto. I don't know actually kamusta yung iba. Like I guess it's a very risky asset. So, the more conservative, konti lang, 5%, maybe 10%. Although what's nice is like I do take not to the public, but I do take placements from friends na they want to medyo dip into crypto pero takot sila sa volatility. So I promise them a set percentage. I think it's 6%. So para lang siyang TD in a sense. Of course, it's not backed up by any bank or something. It's just that if you trust me and I also trust you, yun nga, I only do it with close friends. They get a guaranteed earning, kumbaga. So they get a much better return than kung linagay lang nila sa banko or sa TD. And then me, for myself, I have to make the money grow because I invested in crypto. So but generally, you can do direct investments. Like, ikaw na bahala pumili, like what cryptocurrency you want to invest in, how much to invest, when, buy, sell, things like that. So, for the first bit of the show, we'll talk about bakit ba bumagsak yung Bitcoin. And again, just like, everybody has their own theory. Although, generally, it kind of tracks with what's been going on. Number one, kasi Omicron. So, syempre, Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general are still tied to the general health of the stock market. When Omicron started hitting the US last year and it's still continuing its devastating effects now, nararamdaman rin natin ngayon sa atin, parang kaliwat kanan. Grabe, parang, everywhere you turn, and this is the worst that, from an anecdotal, from my personal perspective, like, this is the worst I've seen the rate of infection. Kasi like, ngayon talaga dami kong friends. Dati kasi, yes, you had maybe one or two friends na affected by COVID, but now it's like, I have employees with the other business. Hardware Sugar, we've also taken some steps to ensure customer and staff safety. Several friends on my wife's side, on my side, either have COVID or their families have COVID. Rocky, my brother, also reports like he knows a lot of people that may COVID. So it's like very common nowadays na to know somebody who directly has COVID. Grabe talaga yung Omicron. And we're feeling that now. The States is feeling that. Europe, South Korea, nauna sila sa atin. They felt Omicron. So the markets generally like uncertainty, medyo kinakabahan yung markets. Hindi, so it's not just the crypto market, it's also the stock market has been doing poorly relatively over the span of 2-3 weeks since Omicron has really started rolling. And something unique to Bitcoin, which has, kasi yung Bitcoin parang bellwether yan for yes, there are so many other cryptocurrencies out there, but generally, pag tumaas yung Bitcoin, tataas yung ibang altcoins or alternative coins. Kung bumagsak yung Bitcoin, babagsak din yung mga altcoins. I did want to highlight this contrary opinion from Maverick Hornet from Facebook. It's a dead cat bounce, meaning that the price of Bitcoin actually dipped around 39, I think, very recently. Basta sub 40. And then it's the dead cat bounce is like, you have the graphic images, like you have something dropping a dead cat, and then kasi pagbagsak niya, tatalsik pa yan eh, may rebound pa yan, and then babagsak ulit siya. So Maverick from Facebook is saying na the drop to 39 and then now it's at around 43 is not a real recovery. Babagsak ulit siya. And that is actually also another opinion that I've seen floating around the internet. It's a legitimate opinion. I can't, personally, I think it will hover around 42, 43. It might not drop some more, but again, I could be dead wrong. I have been dead wrong before. If you watch our previous stream, I'm like, the previous stream last month, it was at around 47K. I was like, yeah, now's a good time to buy in. Think ko, di na yan babagsak. And here we are now. Bumagsak to 39. It's around 43 now. So I don't have a crystal ball. I could be dead wrong. There are some prominent investors who are saying that they think in general it is a dead cat bounce, and in general that there's a recession coming. So the crypto is not immune to the greater, the other factor, the other economic factors pinging around there. So if there is a general recession, crypto will crash as well. It's happened before. So yes, that is a valid opinion. Gino De La Peña from Facebook, we might have to hold on our mining project then. No, but mining is different from trading. So if you have a long-term approach, now is the best time. Pag bumabagsak yung coins, the price of the coins, that's the best time to go into mining kasi yun nga, the difficulty usually goes down. So you can amass a lot more coins when the difficulty is down. And when the prices go back up, because they will go back up. I don't know when they will go up, whether it's a 1-month window, 3-month, 6-month, pero tataas talaga yan. That is for sure. There's a recession, it'll drop to 28K or something, 15K. When COVID first hit 2 years ago, I think Bitcoin hit 6,000, I think, or something. I remember kasi I was desperately trying to buy Bitcoin then at the start of the March 2020, when the COVID really hit us here and basically worldwide, the first quarter of 2020, bagsak lahat. Oil bagsak, crypto bagsak, and it was such a cheap price. So, and yet here we are now. I mean, we're saying 42, 39 is low, pero grabe when COVID hit 2 years ago. I think it was at 6K. The lowest it hit. I can't recall exactly, pero sobrang baba niya. So regardless of what the prices are now, they will recover eventually. Yun nga, it's just that I don't, it's all about the timing, right? You don't know what window you want to get in on. Sup, David from YouTube. I'm trying to follow the comments like both on Facebook and on YouTube, because like somebody sends a star or like a sticker or something like that. So, but yun nga, it's very difficult for me to have I have three monitors. So there's the primary screen on my primary, and then naka vertical. So there's YouTube and Facebook, but there's a lot of, and then I do have actually, I'm tracking the prices now on my secondary monitor. But so it's a triple monitor setup, but this is a lot, and this is my free camera stand. So I just I plop up the camera here. But it is very difficult for me to keep track of things, and I'm not used pa rin to using the Restream Studio, which is how I'm broadcasting now. Usually, I use OBS and I'm not more familiar with that setup. Yun nga yung problema when I stream from my house. Palagi nagka-crash. So, uh, I don't know what it is. When I pipe OBS through Restream, palagi siya nagka-crash. So now I'm streaming natively, if you will, through the Restream Studio, which the nice thing is it doesn't crash. Pero pangalawa, but the bad thing is, yun nga, there's a lot more customization in OBS, so I don't have the usual windows and things that I'm used to, but I am trying to keep track of everything. We do have a tech question from BTC 88. Explain ang power reporting deviation. Read sa akin, parang nagka-cause ng high temps ng 5600X ko, stock cooler. To be honest, I'm not quite sure what you mean by power reporting deviation. Like you're actually monitoring how much watts your PC is using, and then medyo iba siya dun sa expected mo. Although you're saying na it's causing high temps. Well, first of all, the 5000 in general, so I'll just offer general advice. The 5000 series is known to run hot. Like AMD has said publicly na 90 degrees on load, yeah, no problem. We have we designed the CPUs in mind na kaya niya yan. It's really meant to run at very high temps even at around 90 degrees per load. So you haven't reported your temps, but yun nga, 90 degrees is usually considered high for other processors, pero for the 5000 series ng AMD, hindi siya that's normal, kumbaga, that's normal. Although I'll try to get back on track with the crypto, but we can take up this question. Pwede magtanong, our usual tech show, which airs tomorrow also at 8 p.m. Maybe somebody else on the oops, I didn't actually mean to show the thank you from Gino. Maybe some of the other, that's why I like doing pwede magtanong with a panel kasi a lot of people can chime in and help out kasi yun nga, my tech knowledge is also limited. I try to keep up, but you know, it's 4 minds is better than 1, no contest. So pwede magtanong, we'll usually have a better range of opinions and like we can try to figure out what's really wrong. Dominic Linus of Philippines getting the valuable info from you guys again tonight. Thank you for watching us on YouTube. Actually, to be honest, the Linus of the Philippines, parang I think it's just because we're both thin and have a high-pitched voice. Definitely, mas maraming alam si Linus sa akin and like sobrang in-depth ng knowledge niya. He's been doing it for so long. Although what I like about Hardware Sugar, like the channel is na iba rin naman perspective namin. So Linus is a tech YouTuber. Definitely has the resources, grabe yung budget niya to do all kinds of crazy videos. But like sa Hardware Sugar, yung ibang perspective naman namin is that since we're a shop, we really can track like how many items we've sold and ano ba yung mga brands na usually nagfe-fail, usually bumabalik sa amin, kailangan ni RMA, ano ba yung mga GPUs na talagang sulit, ano yung mga prices. So it's a different perspective. It's more like, since yun yung data namin, yun yung data source, kasi ang dami naming nabebenta, so we can, based on our experience, we can really make videos like, oh, alam mo, itong brand, okay to, o itong workaround, like yun nga, yung cheap thermal paste. We had a recent video, 20 peso thermal paste, GD900. Okay siya, actually. Very, very, sobrang sulit niya. And, or like yun nga, yung Core Liquid 240R ng MSI, our first ever do not buy recommendation. Kasi based on our experience sa shop, marami kaming nabenta and they're all coming back to us now. Palagi nasisira yung AIO na yan. So I think, you know, we're trying to be a bit different. At least naman na hindi lang paulit-ulit yung mga information. Like, it is a unique perspective that we can bring kasi, yun nga, not a lot of shops have a dedicated YouTube channel where we talk about like our experiences in the shop with different hardware. So one reason why Bitcoin is down is because everybody else is down because of Omicron, number 1. And number 2, specific to crypto in general and Bitcoin in particular, is when China banned crypto last June, last May, takbo lahat. Takbo meaning lahat ng mga miners sa China, it was like rats fleeing a sinking ship, nagtakbo sila to elsewhere. Like, saan ako pwede mag-set up ng mining operation ko ngayon? So, China was number one before in terms of number of miners and number of percentage of people mining the hash rate. But the US has become number one. But number two became Kazakhstan, which is very close to China. Apparently, they have cheap energy there. And geographically, yun nga, it was easy for the miners to relocate. Yung problema, medyo magulo sa Kazakhstan ngayon. There's political turmoil there. Basically, because the current president was closely aligned to the president that left. Medyo, when Kazakhstan broke off, when the Soviet Union in the early 90s broke up, so there suddenly biglang dami ng mga independent countries. Kazakhstan was one of those independent countries, but they don't really have a long history of peaceful transition and things like that. So the president stuck around for a long time. Recently lang na nagbago yung president nila, pero yung existing president ngayon, parang yung tingin sa kanya, parang yung old president pa rin yung in charge. Yung current president, parang figurehead lang for the old president. But then suddenly, the new president started making changes, like tinanggal niya yung anak nung old president from a very influential committee and things like that. Started, basically started to put in his own people. And so medyo nagkagulo na sa Kazakhstan. And because of the unrest there, hindi rin makamine yung mga miners. So that's a very specific reason for Bitcoin in particular, why the hash rate has gone down. And in general, why prices have gone down, because pero natakot ulit yung mga miners, natakot ulit yung mga investors na, Kazakhstan is the number 2 place in the world mining Bitcoin. Magulo ngayon sa Kazakhstan, and so that's you can kind of make sense why there would be a direct correlation to the price. Mine your GPU. Seems like we haven't hit the bottom yet. I'm not sure. It's very difficult to say. But it's very tempting. 43, 42 is sounds like a good price to me. I would want to buy if I had extra money. But definitely, Maverick from Facebook also echoed that it's a dead cat bounce, and prices will go down again. Mine your GPU, who is a very savvy. He's Mine your GPU. I know for a fact has a lot of miners, so he has a lot of skin in the game, and I do take his opinion seriously when he says stuff like that. Na that we might not have hit bottom yet. Jose Alvarez from YouTube. Is it a good time to buy it now? I would if I had excess money. That the Hardware Sugar, the shop, really takes up a lot of my liquidity, a lot of my cash. But personally, yes, I would buy now. But yun nga, I have a tendency to be overly optimistic. I know that about myself as an investor, na I tend to look on the optimistic side of things, na parang, masyadong ano. But before we do that, I do need to play the ad. So stick around, guys.
Bibili ka ng PC. Most likely, kailangan ng Windows. Pero saan ka kukuha ng legit Windows? Daming options, daming prices. Kalito.
Buti na lang, may cdkeyoffers.com.
Madali lang ang order.
Search for the software you need, add to cart, daan ka sa payment options nila.
Wala pang 5 minutes, finished! May legit working CDK ka na para sa Windows mo.
Gamitin lang aming code para makakuha pa ng discounts.
Kaya kung naghahanap ka ng legit, mura, at original
Check out cdkeyoffers.com. I don't know why it always crashes, or why it always gets cut off towards the end of the ad. Should have played that at the beginning. Sorry, sponsor. But you can check their links in the description below. They are actually very supportive of the channel, and I appreciate the sponsor. Yeah, I always forget to play their stuff in the beginning. Um, Kaiser, sakit Kaiser, sakit. Why you do me like that? But if it's a good time to buy, always wait a bit more. It's about to go lower. It's true though. I tend to be optimistic. Yun nga, the last time I did Cryptowatch, which was in December last month, mga 47, 46. And the prices actually, I like Cryptowatch. I always put um, the current price of the episode. So there's a complete list of prices like when I aired Crypto Watch from episode 1 up to episode 8, the current episode. So if you notice Ep7, it was around 47, 48 ata. And in that episode, I was saying, yeah, now it's a good time to buy, etc. But there we go. Although to be fair, if you had bought at 47, did it go higher than 47? Parang it hasn't hit 50 from what I recall. So 47 might not have been a good time to buy. So, but 42 is such a good price. How can you go wrong? Although, yun nga, seriously aside, there are people saying na there are investors outside of the crypto space are saying that, there might be a recession looming. Certainly, inflation is quite high, especially in the States, the highest it's been in quite a while. So that's one very prominent negative economic indicator. And how the general market goes, the crypto market is not independent of the general market. If the stocks, if there's a sudden recession in the States, for sure crypto will drop as well. And there are some indications of that happening. Although, so I've talked about like Kazakhstan, I've talked about like the general market being ruled by or being affected by Omicron. I did want to I'll highlight Maverick Hornet's comment. Maverick is a technical investor, meaning that he likes to look at graphs, or at least from what I can tell from the comment, because he's using terminology common to that kind of investment strategy, signal line, support, etc. 22K is a bit low. I mean, that's like 50% of the current price. I don't think naman we're seeing prices drop that quickly in the span of a week or so. So that might be like alarmist. um, but I did want to. So I've talked about briefly why Bitcoin is down. Maybe it will continue to drop. Although I did want to highlight, and where's my text description? Like, what did I say I was going to talk about in this stream? Let me check, guys. I got to check my line. And I do want to thank you, everyone, for tuning in, even though it's time. We have 42 people. 42 people who should be eating dinner. Like, I wouldn't take it against you. Just turn your device off, go have dinner. Anyway, mapapanood mo naman to sa Facebook or sa YouTube, naka-record naman to. Go have dinner, and this live stream can wait. But if for those having me in the background during dinner time, thanks so much. And I do want to, yes, I listed here. So the third point that I wanted to talk about is BTC was the best performing asset in 2021. Again, I'm kind of annoyed. I can't flash the graphic on screen kasi nga I'm using the restream camera. But at least, it depends. The devil is in the accounting, and anybody can say like, oh, best, whatever. But in general, at least from one analyst perspective, Bitcoin was the number one asset in last year with a 59.8% return. Number two was WTI crude oil, which was 56.4%, so doing quite well. S&P GSCI rather. I'm not sure if that's a fund which follows the S&P. 37%. Dow Jones Real Estate Index at 35%. The S&P 500 mismo, the stock exchange or the equity. If you had invested in the S&P 500, you would have earned 27%. The US dollar actually was number 6 in terms of top assets for 2021 with a 6.4% return. And then everything else actually was negative. Gold was at 3.6% negative. Silver, the worst at 11.7. And that's already the top 10. So Bitcoin had a very rocky year last year. You had, and we've talked about it before on Cryptowatch, you had, and from 42 we dropped to 34. I didn't mean it, guys. You should have your dinner. No, you should stick with me. Joke lang yun. Balik kayo. What's this like? Why did we lose like 8 people? Uh, but Bitcoin had a very rocky year. It was China banned it again, so that was around June, and that that tumbled, and it took a couple of months to recover. Just when it recovered, biglang nagka-problema dun sa Evergrande, so the very big Chinese real estate company. So that shook all of the markets, equity as well as crypto. So that again, Bitcoin dropped like a rock. So Bitcoin had a very tough year last year, but in spite of all of those ups and downs, that's thanks. Jose Marie Carl, go have dinner. Would I recommend ETH over Bitcoin? Both, to be honest. Like I would invest in some. If you had 5,000 pesos, I'd split it down the middle. 2.5 to Bitcoin, 2.5 to ETH. ETH, I think, is a very worthwhile asset to have, and it's not apples and oranges. It's just basic diversification. If you have some money, put some in Bitcoin, put some in ETH. I wouldn't do it like a one or two, one or the other thing. Sorry, I do need to do some business for the shop. Hi, L family. Does your store deliver to Laguna? We deliver nationwide. If outside of Metro Manila, we do use Ninja Van. But short answer, yes, we do. I even had one. I know that was in Cavite. Like I think 2 months ago, we had like several deliveries in Cavite, like 3 or 4 in Cavite. No, one in Alabang, and then the rest in Cavite. So ako nag-deliver nun personally. If Revijan is still watching, sorry bro, di ka pa, di ka pa rin di ka pa rin you know, we're still trying to find that circuit na it makes sense na isang ikot for personal delivery. So we do deliver via Ninja Van for orders outside the Metro Manila, but if the stars align and we have a lot of orders, I do actually deliver personally. Or if it's a very very special build like the 400k build, we had a 400,000 peso build, which we did a video about. You can see it on the channel. If the owner, I know the owner watches sometimes our live streams. If the owner is watching, it was very nice to meet you. That was a special delivery for 400k, man. I will deliver to you. Um, we've actually also had the farthest I personally delivered is like Dati Subic, but we also had the delivery sa may Ilocos, sa may La Union. So very nice guy. He is a long time supporter of the channel and of the shop, and he buys a lot of stuff from us. But that one, I was like, it'll be nice to kind of personally deliver. So umakyat ako to La Union. But we made it a family outing. This was before Omicron. This was like early December, I think, or late November. So we made it a family outing. I went with my wife and daughter. So we had a good time. We spent 2 nights in La Union, and yun, nasa resort kami, and then nasa resort, the day after I arrived, personally deliver ako to the customer's residence in La Union. So yes, usually we use Ninja Van for orders outside of Metro Manila, but sometimes I do deliver personally, whether in Metro Manila or outside Metro Manila. Just depends on if it makes sense, like from a personal perspective, because I want to like vacation there, or from a logistics perspective na marami namang orders in that general area, kaya ko isang ikot para sulit naman yung biyahe ko. And so yes, in spite of it being a terrible year for Bitcoin, terrible in the sense that the climbs and the lows were quite dramatic. It was actually still, if you timed it right, Bora next. I actually, my wife actually wants us to do a manpulo, but I don't think I'll be delivering any PC parts to a manpulo. Perhaps, but to maybe not Bora per se, but that region, we do have some customers there sa Aklan area. Yun, so it's all in the timing, really. Bitcoin was up and down last year, but it was actually the top performing asset, beating out the usual havens. Kasi diba, pag takot ka sa equities, either you put it in real estate or in gold, usually more conservative options. But Bitcoin was the top performing asset, at least depending on how you. I'm sure if you jigger the accounting, you can come up with a other top performing asset. But um, doesn't matter. Basically, I mean, the message behind that is that it was still a very strong performing asset, and there are even some altcoins that outperformed Bitcoin last year. So if it was the top performing asset, you can imagine what some of those other the returns of some of those other coins. Like just very recently, Shiba Inu, the coin or the Shiba coin. Do they call it Shiba Inu or Shiba coin? Let's it's Shiba. Shiba Inu, yeah, Shib. Shib is the coin name. So Shiba Inu was having a great run 2 months ago, maybe, or like a month ago. So if Bitcoin was a top performing kind of top of blue chip asset, blue chip in the sense that a lot of people know it, it is recognized. There's a strong market preference for it. A blue chip stock is something from a very well-known company. So Apple, Ford Motors. I mean, if you want to be more traditional industrialist about it. So Bitcoin is sort of the blue chip cryptocurrency. That's why whenever people talk about people outside of the crypto space talk about crypto, usually it's Bitcoin is top of mind. So parang siya yung blue chip crypto for I mean, that's why the asset didn't track like Ethereum or other things kasi Bitcoin yung top of mind talaga. So that's point number 3. Even though it was a very rocky year for Bitcoin last year, it was still, by some accounts, the top performing asset among all other asset classes, not just compared to other cryptocurrencies. I can believe it. If you bought in at a good time, you had a pretty good run. So what to do now? Basically, enjoy your staking. I've talked about it before that a nice thing, if you're doing crypto trading, you don't need to be just buying and selling. There are a lot of coins now where you can stake, meaning stake just means that you deposit it. So let's say I own 10 Ethereum. Ethereum, although Ethereum's not a good example kasi the staking rewards now are based on when the network will upgrade to Ethereum 2.0. So that's not a good example. One currency that I really like to stake is Tezos XTZ. So basically, that's just a deposit. You stake your crypto and it earns you income in that crypto. So I do a lot of my trading with Kraken, which is a exchange based in the US. So Kraken will allow you to stake Tezos and they'll give you interest on it. So your money isn't sleeping. If you buy a crypto which allows you to stake, and there are a lot now that Solana, SOL was a very hot cryptocurrency last year, and you can stake Solana. But me personally, I do have a bit of Solana, but I like I'm big on XTZ more, and I've forgotten. See, basically, I'll be upfront. My trading it has been in hibernation for the past 6 weeks or so because the prices have been all over the place, and I've been quite busy as well with hardware sugar. But I don't. And actually, I was in a really bad position. I actually leveraged some money. So I borrowed money from the exchange to buy OMG. I'm very bullish on OMG. And again, this is just personal sharing that you probably shouldn't listen to me for investment advice in crypto because I do stupid shit and I lose money all the time. So when it dropped, the initial drops, yun yung problema sa crypto eh. Parang it drops a little bit and you're like, and gung-ho people like me who don't know any better and who have no emotional intelligence when it comes to investing, they'll be like, okay, ito na, fear of missing out. Ito na talaga yung bottom niya. Ayoko na, takot ako na tataas yan. I'll miss out on the low price. So I jumped back in. And then I borrowed money from Kraken to buy OMG because I was like, definitely tataas to. And then it sunk like a rock. So talagang crash siya. and I took a I took a hit. I took a hit on that. So that was a really like masakit 'yon. And I was holding on kasi like to be honest, my strategy was okay, hindi naman siya ganun ka, I'm paying Kraken every 6 hours. Leveraging is a very bad idea if you're, it'll really make you pay. But uh Kaiser, I remember you buying at 12, I think. I think OMG was around 12 nga when I bought it. And I think it's around 6 now. So let me pull it up on my tracker. Uh oh wait. Where is OMG? OMG. Hang on guys. I'm just pulling up OMG now. Yeah, I haven't been tracking it in a while. Tezos is 4.34. OMG is at 6. So let's say if I put in $100 worth, now my purchase is only $50. Pero paper loss pa lang naman siya. Don't sell now. Although 50%, right? 50% loss. And then to top it, pero yung masakit sa leveraging, hindi yung paper loss. Talagang because you borrowed funds from the exchange, you're paying the exchange to make use of those funds. So but my strategy was basically if I sell it out now, sup moniker from YouTube. My investment strategy was, so I leveraged my purchase of OMG. I was thinking, yes, I'm paying Kraken now, but my how much I'm paying Kraken is much less compared to if I take the paper loss now. So I don't want to go into details because well, I try not to offer like super specifics, like how much money I'm making or losing. Usually it's losing. But I did the math, and like if I take the paper loss now, let's say let's just give numbers. These are not the real numbers, but let's say if I take the paper loss now, I would, let's say, take $100 loss. Whereas it's only $1 per day. Again, these are not the real numbers. I'm just illustrating the example. I'm like, if I sell now, if I sell my position at a loss, I don't need to pay Kraken anymore because I paid back the funds already that I borrowed. But I'm only paying Kraken $1 a day right now. Whereas if I sell at a paper loss, cut my losses, sell the position, I lose upfront $100. So my position was na I won't sell it na lang. I'll continue to pay Kraken the $1 a day. Yes, masakit. I really, I misjudged the market. I shouldn't have leveraged. One, I shouldn't have leveraged. Two, I shouldn't have bought in at that price. But doing the math, running the numbers, it's better for me to pay $1 a day and hope that in after 2 months, so that's $60 out, the market will recover enough for me to at least sell it at $60 kaysa sa $100. But so for the entire 6 weeks, December to just recently around January, I was paying Kraken the fees for leveraging. But the problem also with leveraging is that if it goes below a certain threshold, kinakabahan yung exchange na, oh, this guy made such a bad bet. Sobrang pangit nung investment niya na he might not be able to pay me back. Ito yung inisip na exchange. So at a certain point, it's gonna do a margin call. Basically, sinasabi what a margin call is, sinasabi nung exchange is na sobrang olas ng investment mo. Takot ako na you can afford to pay me back. So a margin call is basically they're gonna they will sell the position. They'll force sell it at whatever the current price is. They're gonna force sell it so at least they can get their money back. So na margin call ako nung Kraken. Sad. This is a sad smile. So it's really like damn. So not only was I out so now the paper loss was a real loss because the Kraken forced my hand, kumbaga called my hand kung poker to. So I took the paper loss, that's a real loss now, number one. Plus may loss pa ako kasi yung the $1 a day example that I was paying, the leverage fees that I was paying out to Kraken. So Not a good way to start the year, but hopefully 43 is quite good. It's quite a good price. $6 for OMG is quite a good price. I'm very tempted to find some funds and get back in the market. I think it's a good price now. Pero again, you should not take my advice kasi um, uh, my investments sometimes turn out well, sometimes they do not. But to answer Miguel Santos from Facebook, was this for your first time using leverage? It was not. To be fair, I mean, I tend to be dismissive of my trading acumen or my investment expertise, but because I do take note that naka red eyes ka, Miguel, so which means you're a crypto supporter. Let's do this. But I mean, I do tend to make fun of my investment returns. Also, because I don't want you guys or whoever is watching to invest just because I'm saying that now's a good time. Because again, I do make a lot of mistakes. But to be upfront, I am a savvy investor in the sense that I have made some money, and I have been doing this for a long time. So this was not my first time to use leverage. Usually, although when I do use leverage, it's really hit or miss. To be honest, it's very risky. I've only started using leverage last year, and maybe it's like 60-40. Like 60% of the time I'll make money, 40% no. But it really is a very up and down, especially when I use leverage. It's a very risky proposition. So I am aware of the risk. I mean, jokes aside, and I do budget accordingly. It's not like I toss the kitchen sink in when I leverage. But the first time, when you get it right, like feeling mo talaga ito na yon, like tas babagsak siya ng babagsak. Because I do short as well. Shorting is when you can, I talked about it on a previous live stream. You can just look it up on YouTube, easier on YouTube. Shorting is when you're betting that the price will go down, and so you can make money. You can also make money when the price goes down. Kasi for routine investors, inisip lang nila, ay bagsak yung market, I can't make any money. But if you short a currency, you can make money on the short when the currency drops. So I have shorted currencies. I have made money on the short. I have also leveraged, meaning I think the price will go up, so I borrow money from my exchange to be able to buy more. So I have done both. I have shorted and I have done long. It's a long trade or a short trade. So I do I do make fun of my investment history. But jokes aside, I have been doing this for a long time, crypto investing. I have done both short and long. Although I got bored with my investment strategy last year. So in a bid to mix things up, I've tried to get more into short term. Because before last year, I was very long term. My approach to crypto trading was very long term, and so there were quite good returns. I mean, may returns naman, pat on the back to me, but I was becoming a bit bored with it, and at the same time, I wanted to make money. Kasi long term, yun. This is an ideal long term situation. The market hit 39 or so. You should have bought then, and then wait. Like you don't really care in a long term situation. 48, it drops to 42. I don't care. 48, it drops to 39. Long term, you buy it at the 39 mark, right? And then it goes up to 42, you don't care. Hold until it hits mga 50, 55, mga ganyan. Imagine if you bought a 39 and then akit siya to 55. Ganun yung investment strategy ko dati. Very long-term approach. But I did try to mix it up a little bit last year. And so a portion of my portfolio is still is dedicated to long-term, and then some with short-term. Yeah. Razor from YouTube about my personal rig. 3070 pa rin RAM mo is DDR3. Let me correct, actually. My GPU is 3080. But yes, my RAM is DDR3. 12 gigabytes. Anong year yung PC mo? I think this... So for those who don't know, my PC is very old and we've made fun of it on the channel before. I do have actually a video, several videos about my desktop. It's an i5 4690K Pero sobrang, yun nga, i5 4690. So that we are currently at 12th gen. My CPU is 4th gen. um, pero yun nga, I have a 3080. And yes, if this were pwede din magtanong, the people in the internet would be screaming at me na bottleneck. Yes, guys, I know the bottleneck. But if you want to play the most latest, if you just want to play the latest games, the most recent games, it's fine because a lot of that work is done by the GPU. So the 3080 is allowing me to play the current games at a decent enough frame rate. But yes, so yes, definitely bottleneck siya. But for my needs na I don't really get to play a lot now, with the shop, with the channel, with things going on in my personal life. Not bad things, good things, but my daughter, my wife and I had our first child, a daughter, during the pandemic. So last 2020, so she's 1.5 now, and oh my God, okay, I know this is crypto watch. I'm supposed to be talking about cryptocurrency, but just there's a short aside on fatherhood. It really takes up a lot of your time, and I'm super enjoying it. Pero grabe talaga yung kinakain na like I have no free time anymore. If any free time is devoted to the channel, making scripts, following up like orders for the shop. So I do have very little time now to game. And so when I do game, but when I game, gusto ko naman decente. 2K, at least mga 40 frames per second. Di na ako nangangarap. I think 40 for me is the minimum that I can take. So like Cyberpunk, 2K at 40 FPS, MechWarrior 5, which God, I want to finish that game since last year ko pa siya linalaro. So 3080, a very good graphics card, is ideal na for me in the situation where I only get to play, but when I play, I do want it na medyo decente naman. Um, yeah, so this is why I only have DDR3 12 gigabytes. Although I was planning, if you watched my previous streams from last year, I was planning na to come up with a new personal rig with a Ryzen 7 3700X, very still not top of the line, but just below the top of the line. Very good CPU. Very kindly donated by a very regular viewer of the channel and and a regular customer of the shop. I do want to pay him back, and I know you're watching, so don't worry. I will pay you back for that. It just doesn't feel right. But I was planning a personal rig, and I will get around to that. But you know, I don't want us to go into lockdown. But kung magka super strict lockdown ulit na, hardware sugar is closed, I will probably use that time since there are no customers, no suppliers I need to follow up, no builds, no diagnostics, no nothing. I will probably use that time to make my personal build. But sana hindi na. It's terrible, the economic it's and it's not just, I mean, it's not, don't take it the wrong way. Lockdowns do seem to be effective. The infection rate goes down, but it's not an either or. It's not a false dichotomy. In logic, there are fallacies where an argument is fallacious if it falls into a logical fallacy, and that's a logical fallacy, the either or approach na you can only have one or the other. So you can have, yes, a strict lockdown is one way of getting the infection rate to go down, but it's not the only way. So ako personally, well, not that I mean, not that the IATF doesn't listen to me, so my opinion is worth squat. But it's been very hard for businesses the past 2 years with the constant lockdowns. So I'm hoping enhanced measures, maybe level 4, but like the super strict lockdowns, I hope maybe we can avoid that kasi hirap talaga. Uh, uh, hirap to to keep a business running and to keep your employees fed, and quite difficult. But yun nga, we're always planning. If that does indeed happen, then that's probably when I will do my build. If not, I really do need to find the time. Yes. Thanks, Jeff from YouTube. Congrats. Dennis from Facebook, welcome to fatherhood. Totally understand where you are right now. Good thing I am done with that phase. I mean, I thought, I'm don't get me wrong, yun nga, I'm super enjoying my time, but it does also make my time with my daughter. But it does really do make you appreciate the time that you had to yourself. I mean, I'm an introvert by nature. I really enjoyed my time before. Like, you could spend 3 hours playing a game, 3 hours reading a book or whatever, watching a movie, following TV series. But a lot of that is just not possible now. Even now, like setting aside time to do the streams and things like that can be quite demanding. So, well, but yun nga, the books, the games, the streams will or the content that I'm not able to consume now will always be there. But this phase of my daughter's life just comes around once. So, syempre, sa kanya, I'm trying to devote as much time as possible to that, to her, and yeah. But yeah, just really a lot of very little time left to do even the things that I should be doing. Sup, Brian? Kabling from Facebook. Brian actually has a PC with us now for diagnostics. We took one crack at it. We took a pass at it. The initial GPU was broken, but we wiped the we DDU'd it. So um, we basically removed the old drivers because it was an AMD GPU, and then we put in a 20 the next the replacement GPU is a 2060, so we put in the appropriate drivers. We thought that solved the problem, but it did not. So the PC is back with us again. I do mention it just because some customers, kasi Brian has been very good about it, so no issue with Brian. But just sometimes some customers kasi have the sense na pinadala and we can fix it right away. But really, PC troubleshooting can take a lot of time, and we're very upfront actually na it can maybe take several trips kasi it's really trial and error. We always repeat that in Pwede Magtanong. We always repeat that in some of the videos that we do, na you're really like a detective, and sometimes and there could be multiple problems, and sometimes it's working with the customer but it's not working with us, or vice versa. So we really do appreciate we put a lot of time into diagnosing what's wrong, and we appreciate it when the customers give us that time and give us that space to allow us to try to find out what's wrong talaga. Kasi paminsan pabalik-balik talaga yan paminsan. I mean, it's some customers, can get annoyed and say na it's very troublesome. And it is. I do agree. If it's troublesome for you, it's also troublesome for the shop because we have to devote resources to fixing it. So, but definitely for Hardware Sugar, no BS warranty. We really live up to the warranty. But the very minimum that we ask is that you do bring it into the shop. Yeah, it's not knocking Brian. He's been very patient. And we do appreciate nga customers like Brian that give us the time to try to figure out talaga ano ba yung problema dito sa computer na to. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just gonna do the last of I had in my bullet points. I do actually have to go. But I do remember I had the last bullet point that I wanted to talk about. Staking. Oh yeah, altcoins. So just because Bitcoin is down doesn't mean that you still can't make money trading with cryptocurrencies. I'm not advocating a particular crypto, although my good friend Robert, you've seen him before also on the channel, has done very well for himself with Harmony. I think ONE is the crypto the ticker name kumbaga for that one. I think he's at around in 15%. He was saying that he had a 15% return on Harmony, which is very good in this kind of market now. So just because crypto is down in general and Bitcoin in particular doesn't mean that you can't generate a return in crypto. It just really depends on yun, what coin you buy and at what price you sell it at. I did have one comment here about Axie Infinity. I'll take this last comment and then we'll close the stream for now for this episode. But do check us out on Pwede Magtanong tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Man, where is the... He was from Facebook and he was asking if Axie Infinity was a... here, sorry, it was YouTube pala. So, Angelo from YouTube asks, Axie Infinity is a Ponzi scheme. True? Not... I don't... no, sige, fine. I'll say no. Iba kasi yung Ponzi scheme sa it's not a get rich quick kind of thing. So Axie Infinity is basically a game, and if you play it, you can earn a digital asset called SLP or the Love Potion, and you can sell the Love Potion for real money. Axie Infinity also has a currency, an actual cryptocurrency, AXS, so the Axie. Although that's used more for in-game transactions as well as, I think you can vote. So may parang stakeholder mechanism involved pa siya. It's not a Ponzi scheme. It's not like you to earn money you need to recruit people. It's not like that. To earn money you just need to play the game. There is a lot of fear about crypto, which is why you get kahit anong bagong crypto, yung kinakatakutan ng mga tao, yung kinakabahan sila na Ponzi ba yan, scam ba yan. But Axie Infinity, to be fair, and again, I do not play the game anymore. I found the gameplay to be a bit boring. It's a bit of a grind, to be honest. I do invest in Axie, but not a lot. I don't think I have current holdings in Axie, like AXS. So that's just disclaimer. But I wouldn't consider it a Ponzi scheme. It is a legit cryptocurrency. How do you define legitimate? In the sense that there are people, the developers are very active, both for the game and for the cryptocurrency. There are investors behind it. Not that there needs to be investors for it to be legit. There are no investors behind Bitcoin, for example. Investors in the sense that there are people plopping down money in the foundation or in the group developing the cryptocurrency. But there are investors in the company behind Axie. It has a sufficient user base to support further investment. So generally, no, I would not consider it to be a Ponzi scheme. Kaiser has a good comment on it. It's similar in the sense that a big part of your money is made through new players by selling Axies. That's true. Although you can make money. Yes, that's a good point. So thanks to Kaiser. You do want more people entering the ecosystem, and new players need it's a requirement. To play Axie, you need to buy at least 3 Axie. And there are people who spawn or who generate Axie, who breed Axie. And if you're a breeder, yes, it's true that you would want more new people because you need to sell your stock, kumbaga. That's a good point. Although yun nga, I mean, but I'm not disagreeing with Kaiser. Even he says na it's not a scam per se. Although I like the per se meaning na like parang although I wouldn't consider it I love mind your GPU's comment. But I wouldn't consider Axie Infinity a scam per se. And we're really getting into the weeds here. We're gonna leave it at this comment. The Fiat is a Ponzi. It's true. I mean, di naman that it's true that fiat is a Ponzi scheme, but I think it's more of a tongue-in-cheek comment denoting that you fiat currency, fiat meaning the currencies of countries, Philippine peso, US dollar, Japanese yen, GBP, British pound, Great Britain pound, GBP, Great British pound, Great Britain pound. Anyway, the pound, pound sterling. Um, in a sense, those are all fiat because, sorry, in a sense, it's all a bit of a Ponzi because it's all a confidence play. The Philippine peso only has value because people perceive it as value. Um, because the money before used to be backed up by gold, so it was the gold standard or the silver standard, meaning that 100 pesos can buy you an ounce or X amount of gold. But one of the one of the one of the innovations was that the price it's a free floating price now. Currencies float, it's the market price. How much are people willing to pay for your currency? Central banks do defend their currencies in the sense that if it drops below a certain value, the central bank will usually step in, but it doesn't have a magic wand. It steps in by buying by buying the Philippine peso or buying the currency in question, which very basic supply and demand. Because you're drying up the supply, you're taking less pesos off the market, then demand goes up, value increases. But it's not like it can just wave a magic wand and say that, oh, now the peso should be 50 pesos to the dollar. Oh, now it should be 45 pesos to the dollar. So in that sense, it is a tongue-in-cheek comment. But there's, in a very also real sense, our fiat currency is also just sort of a confidence. It's based on the confidence of the market, just like any other asset and just like a crypto asset. It's just that people tend to play that up more with a crypto asset na wala namang, there's nothing backing it. There's no real asset backing it. But in actuality, um that is true also with a fiat currency. Yes, governments back fiat, but they only have limited resources as well to back it, in that sense. So bit out of topic for this particular stream, but we can tackle that in another crypto watch. I just want to say thank you. Sup to Leah Magnaye. Thanks for joining us. And that's it for me, guys. Please do join us for Pwede Magtanong tomorrow, 8 p.m. There are a bunch of tech questions I saw in the chat, which I couldn't get into now because I had to devote my time to rambling on about fatherhood and about cryptocurrency. But now I do need to go start food and put food on the table. Although I just wanna last on Dennis's comment, that before it was before it was based on gold reserves, so the famous Fort Knox of the States. But now there is nothing. There is no peg to fiat currencies anymore. It is floating on a market rate, at least for usual currencies. China has a peg, because China is China. It's not really free market. But nowadays it is a free floating and then with corrections by central banks. So thanks so much for watching. Stay safe. Lots of COVID out there, and see you tomorrow for Pwede Magtanong.